Heading over to the Weather Center now, we're going to check back in with Chief Meteorologist Dan Cianca. We saw everything out there on the golf course and also from the weather out there. A little wet at times, but also a nice day to finish.
Just a little Crosby weather on Saturday. That's all we had to deal with. Outside of that, it wasn't too bad. And I think we saved the best stuff, or maybe the worst stuff perhaps, until after the whole thing's over. Here's a live look from Domenico's on the Wharf tonight. You see the top of the screen there, flood potential is there as we head into the day tomorrow. Heavy rainfall at times, especially in the coastal mountains. Going to be an issue. Also winds to talk about right now. Seeing wind gusts in the come back here, winds. Wind gusts in there, they blew away. That's what happened. 31 miles per hour up above the Bixby Bridge, seeing 23 miles per hour up on Loma Prieta. So winds picking up tonight. That's going to continue overnight tonight into the day tomorrow. There'll be some lulls, but it'll generally be a slow increase into the day. We're going to go through the wind and rain hour by hour in just a moment, but this is a look at your timeline overnight. Rain with us, picking up, temperature staying in the 50s into that morning commute. It's going to be a wet one and potentially a windy one as well. Future track clouds and precipitation bringing rain across the Monterey Bay area into around 3 a.m., filling in all the way across the region, all the way perhaps even to King City by the time we get to 3 a.m. And cities around the Bay, it looks like things are letting up, but not really. It looks like this thing's just going to kind of stall over us, so we'll have waves of rain coming in along the flow of the moisture, and that is through 6 and 9 a.m., continuing to bring moderate rainfall, maybe briefly heavy, especially in those coastal mountains. And then looks like we might get a lull around lunchtime or so, but then it picks back up as we head into the afternoon hours, fills back in as the cold front approaches. Now, basically, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show tonight, we've got two separate moisture plumes and then another focal point with the cold front coming through. So the moisture plumes kind of coming together, so that's going to just keep the rain machine going on overnight tonight into tomorrow. And then as the cold front comes through, that activity is going to pick up. It's going to add an extra source of lift. That cold front could produce some gusty winds and even heavier rainfall. And there's a slight chance we might even get a little lightning in there. That's the best chance of it. It's just going to be during that brief window, as this particular model is showing what appears to be a narrow cold frontal rain band. Oftentimes this can have some very focused and gusty winds and even heavier rainfall rates. It's still showing everything coming through around 6 p.m. tomorrow, at least the heaviest rainfall. And then by the time we get to 9 p.m., we start to clear out around the bay. We still look at the rain in southern Monterey and San Benito counties, and then by midnight, we're almost done. So most of us are going to continue to see rain through about 9 p.m. tomorrow, and that, could be closing in on 21 hours of moderate rainfall. That's going to add up after all. Latest model trends showing some decent amounts in those coastal mountains, getting up into the several inch range, and for cities around the bay, most of us should pick up 1 inch to 2 inches of rain. Some of those higher amounts, I still think we could see some of those particularly wet spots, maybe not our populated spots, but those peaks getting 8 to 10 inches of rain at max. But most cities around the Santa Cruz Mountains will probably be in the 3 to 5 inch range. So we're talking Boulder Creek, Bonnie Doon, you might be closer to 6 or 7 inches. That's a lot of rain over a shorter period of time, again, as this slow moving system comes through. On top of that, we've got some alerts in place. We've got a flood watch in place for the entire viewing area through tomorrow night. There is flooding potential out there, mostly street flooding, flooding of low areas. No major river, like the Salinas River is not going to flood, the Pajaro River is not going to flood, but some of the creeks might just start to rise and get close to their banks. Areas that don't drain that well, farm fields, the ditches along the farm roads could fill up with water. That could spill over the roads, and just don't know how deep that ends up being. So watch out for some flooding out there tomorrow. On top of that, wind advisories, those winds will get gusty, and we'll show you the winds here in a moment, but wind gusts potentially up to 50 miles per hour. That's probably going to knock a few trees down, maybe on the peninsula in western Santa Cruz County, and ultimately that could lead to some roadway closures, property damage, or also some power outages. Also nasty winds and high seas out over the water. There's a storm warning from Point Pinos to Point Piedras Blancas, and also a gale warning tomorrow actually within Monterey Bay. Here are those wind speeds, again, picking up overnight tonight. There will be some lulls, but ultimately we're going to continue to see this southerly flow. This is 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, seeing the 20 to 30 mile per hour range winds across the region, maybe even a little bit stronger as we head into tomorrow afternoon, 30 to maybe 40 mile per hour wind gusts. And then as the cold front comes through, we'll see an end to the winds, but some of the strongest winds will be along and ahead of that front coming through the region. So gusty winds with this system. The winds will die down as the cold front passes through. Let's take a look now beyond this, and we'll look at your temperature forecast quickly here. Across Santa Cruz County, southerly flow off the bay is going to keep us in the 50s tomorrow, 56 in Santa Cruz, 55 in Scotts Valley. East shore of the bay, Going to be in the low 60s tomorrow, Salinas to Hollister, Watsonville, so you'll still have that warm southerly flow, if you will. Even the Monterey Peninsula, fairly mild tomorrow with low 60s, seasonable temperatures even with the rain, and down south more 60s showing up on that forecast sheet. So here's a look at that 7-day forecast. The heaviest rain will be tomorrow. We'll get a break on Wednesday, and then after a cold morning Thursday, the next system comes in. It's going to bring more rain and probably be some more wind and another cold air mass. Temperatures will be cold as we head into the mornings heading into this weekend. So we've got 2 systems we're tracking and then cold mornings beyond that, which could cause some frosty conditions to talk about. Inland areas also seeing a break kind of on Wednesday, except maybe in the south, and then rain likely Thursday. Mountain snow seemingly likely as well Thursday into Friday, and then some cold frosty mornings we're tracking. All the latest, obviously stay tuned to the forecast. We're back after this.